Happy October, everybody. And today, on day 3 of the Kings, the Queens of Halloween, we are crowning a king of a musical variety. We are crowning a king of illusion variety. We are crowning a king of a clown variety. We are crowning a king of a wrestling variety. Wait. Oh my god. We're crowning Verne Langdon. Yes. Verne Langdon, one of the most phantasmagorical humans who have ever lived. And that is not hyperbole, that is not exaggeration. Because almost right out of the gate, this man was destined for a colorful, amazing, and very varied life. Born in Oakland, California, Verne was a natural at the keys. This great pianist even made a little bit of a living underage at 16 playing piano in a brothel. What?
The party was beginning to pick up a bit. Some of the nice young men had been thoughtful enough to bring along some fruit.
Verne went on to work at the Don Post Studios in the 60s. And even though the Don Post Studios had started in 1938, the 60s, in my opinion, the 60s and the 70s were the sweet spot for Don Post Studios. And Verne Langdon's a huge part of that. And so many of those iconic Macs, including some of Verne's own creations, including the zombie with the great white shag cut. I love that. I love that design. That's Verne Langdon. The thing is, you see all throughout Verne's career is this ability to sort of bend reality in such a creative, entertaining way, and in such an illustrious way. Verne also would become professional magician. I don't have a lot of information about that, but that's amazing, and I would absolutely love to go in a time machine and see one of those shows. He also was a trained professional clown, and which honestly, given his makeup skills, a lot of which he got to hone at Don Post, it's a natural, of course. And this is the thing. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, clowns! I don't like clowns." The whole clownophobia thing. I feel like the fear of clowns didn't really start till Stephen King's It, because realistically, before It, clowns were always kind of portrayed in their more classic form. But granted, I say classic form, if you start looking at sort of old makeup and approaches to the art of the clown, which is something I was kind of very ignorant into until I got into Verne and started researching Verne Langdon, there's actually a wide variety. And the thing about clowns that I really have come to love is you're taking some deceptively simple tactics. You have a person, and through the art of makeup and costume, but also physical performance and maybe a handful of props, you're bending reality for a comedic purpose. It's a way of sort of getting to dive into another world that's similar to yours, but very different. And I think that's always fascinating. Why do we watch movies? Why do we read books? Why do we listen to music? Sometimes it's a catharsis, but sometimes it's a chance to kind of explore a reality that is not ours. That's why it's great to have certainly people like Verne Langdon. Now, all of that alone would have made him a king of Halloween, because Verne Langdon has made some of the most evocative, atmospheric, and absolutely enchanting organ music I have ever heard. Verne, taking his background as a pianist and through the training of one Corla Pandit, what? That's what I'm saying. Everything about Verne Langdon's just absolutely mind-blowing. And they became very great friends, too. Verne got into the organ, and with those skills made some of the most iconic recordings in the field of, I would call, spectral music. And that's my own term I'm coming up with. Because we have Vampire of the Harpsichord. We have music for magicians. We have Dr. Druid's Seance, which that one is literally giving you the experience of being part of a seance, which is so cool. And so many others. And all of these albums they feel like a warm blanket to me. But it's a way to feel otherworldly. It's a way to throw a patina around your own settings and really get to just enjoy and a wholly unique and enriching experience with music. That's Verne Langdon. Incidentally, he also did an album of clown music, which this cover is amazing. And the fact that one of the songs on here is called "What Do You Mean You Lost Your Dog?" I live for this. I live for this.
It was too late to hide it. I had to think of something very, very clever.
In the latter part of Verne's career, he was trained by none other than Tor Johnson, who incidentally, one of the most iconic Don Post Studios masks is of Tor, and the fabulous Moolah. Amazing, right? Mind-blowing. And Verne would go on to open Slammers, and where they would have matches. He trained a number of wrestlers and became very beloved in that field as well. When you Google it, you see all kinds of people just sharing their love of working with Verne. And that's everything I have found in my, not just being a fan of Verne, I actually got to write about Verne for an issue of Morgue back in 2022. And everything I found just indicated a man that, I mean, even his ex-wife loves him. Like, that's, when your exes love you, you know something's very special. Because most of us can't say that. But Verne Langdon, just such an enriching, amazing world of a man. Absolutely fantastic, phenomenal man. And I'm not even, and I'm omitting a lot of cool stuff too, because it's just, I'm trying to keep these slightly short, but really I would love to see somebody do a in-depth like biography on Verne and just cover this man's life, because Verne Langdon, people like Verne Langdon come around. They're like some kind of fantastical comet or meteor. They come around like once every like 500 years or something. He's that special. And so Verne Langdon, you are forever loved. And thank you so much for all of your work. You are continually blowing our minds and changing our worlds for the better. And you guys are changing my world by watching. So thank you so much. And stay spooky.